Do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to turn a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter in law against her mother in law. A man's enemies will be the members of his own household. Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. We're not worthy of Christ if we love our parents more than we love him. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. We're not worthy of Christ if we love our sons and daughters more than we love him. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Nathan Maddox YouTube channel. I'm gonna come up with a name, I swear, or it might stick. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm gonna get right into this one. I'm not reacting to anything, but a pastor, his name is Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell. I was listening to one of his sermons on YouTube the other day. He's based out of Atlanta. I really want to go there and listen to him in person. But anyways, I was listening to one of his sermons on YouTube the other day, and he was talking about Matthew chapter 10, verses 34 through 39. And this was really deep for me because it's just powerful. I'm gonna go into some background. As I grew up, a lot of people always talked about, you got to put God above your spouse and your kids and everything like that. And like God has to come first before Jesus has to come first before wife, kids, family, all that. I always heard that as a kid, but I'm not sure if I always fully believed it because I feel like a lot of times we get into this monotonous life of we're always putting our spouses first, or we're always putting our kids first, or we're always putting our family first. And I don't see people focusing on putting God first. So this message is powerful because I'm in the stage of my life where nobody comes before God. Nobody comes before Jesus. Not my wife, not my kids, not my parents, not my cousins, my brothers, not my friends, not my co-workers. Nobody comes before God in my life. And that is what gives me the ability to love my family, friends, and loved ones that much more because of the fact that I put Jesus first. I'm trying to put Jesus first. I'm not perfect at this. I'm learning as I go, but I see that as I try to put Jesus first and God first, I see that as I do that, I'm able to love everyone around me better. I'm able to be more understanding to people. I'm able to be more patient with people. I'm able to be more empathetic to people. I'm able to not have these ego pride attacks where I'm just like not wanting to listen to people's opinions or people's thoughts because I think I'm right. The more I put God first, the more I'm able to get out of my ego and my pride and be able to just hear people out, be empathetic, and understand people more. So I want to make that clear that as I say that I put God before everybody and I love God more than my family, my friends, my loved ones, I love God the most. I don't say that in a negative way. I say that in the most positive way because it's what's required of us, one. And two, it gives me the ability to love my loved ones that much more. But I want to read this passage, these verses 34 through 39 in Matthew chapter 10. I gradually want to read all of them on my YouTube channel because it's so powerful. But I want to read this because this is what he preached about when I listened to it a couple days ago on YouTube, and it's just powerful. In verse 34, it says, "Do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to turn a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter in law against her mother in law. A man's enemies will be the members of his own household. Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for my sake will find it." That's powerful to me because he's saying straight up, I don't think people actually live by this. I don't think people actually live with the thought of loving God more than their father and mother, more than their sons and daughters. I think people say that in their heads and they say it to their kids and to their spouses, but I don't think they actually mean it. I think what comes with that is when your son, your daughter, your kids, your mother, your father, your cousins, when they're living in sin, if you're still in their presence and in their midst and being around them like they're not, like you compromise for their sin and you're like, well, I can just be around them for a little while, you're not loving God more. You're loving them more than God because you still want to be in their presence at those moments. So I'm at the point where I'm not getting in agreement with any sin. I still work on my sin. I just open and honest. I'm a lustful. I have been a lustful person in my life, so I work on that. I rebuke lust all the time, and I repent for my sins of lusting all the time. I'm not saying that I don't sin because I do have sin in. I do sin at times. So, but what I'm saying is, I'm not gonna get in agreement with other people's sin. I'm not gonna stand around while I watch other people sin. No matter how much I love you, I'm gonna separate myself from the situation, whatever that situation may be. So I think people say that they love God more, but I don't know if they really believe it or really live it, I should say. I don't see a lot of people actually living it because they'll accept sin, they'll be in the presence of sin, they'll spend time with the people in the presence that are sinning and act as though it's not happening. So if I see it, I'm gonna step back, walk away. I'm not gonna be disrespectful, not gonna be judgmental, because that's not what I'm here to do. But I'm not gonna be in the presence of sin when I know I love my God more than I love our God more than I love my family. Point blank, period. And that's the way it is. That's the way it has to be. So that sermon, it's crazy. Excuse me. That those verses are crazy because they're saying straight up, as you get into this, you've got to love God more than everybody. And that could lead to division in households. It could lead to division in friendships. It could lead to division in parent and kid relationships. It could lead to division in brother and brother relationships. It could lead to division in sister and sister relationships. And this isn't me teaching. This is me sharing what was revealed to me. I'm like, dang, if I'm fully committed to this, some of my closest loved ones, we could be divided at times until they come closer to God and things of that nature. But it literally says a man's enemies will be the members of his own household. How that is so powerful in my opinion, because it doesn't just have to be the household. It could be your closest friends, your closest cousins, your brothers, your sisters, anybody who is not okay with you living for Christ. You could be cut off from them. Essentially, is how I took that. Is that sword that God's coming with instead of peace is the sword of division. Like our families could be separated, friendships could be separated, things that we cherish and love the most could be separated because of you or me or we deciding to follow God wholeheartedly, loving God more than our family, loving God more than our mother, our father, our brothers, our cousins, our kids, loving God more than our kids. That could lead to separations throughout your family. And the way I see it is, if those separations happen, if you and your parents get separated in the midst of this, if you and your friends get separated, they're like, man, he's doing this God thing. He keeps going to church. He keeps on reading the Bible. If you and your brothers get separated, you and your sisters get separated, I think the beauty in it is, as they see that you continue to love them and pour into them from afar, they're gonna be like, dang, whatever he's doing, maybe it is what we should do. Maybe it is something we should get involved in. Maybe we should cut this sin out so he can spend more time with us or so she can spend more time with us. I think it would lead to bringing more people to Christ. The separation could bring more people to Christ because people would be like, well, if he's living that lifestyle and he's able to still love us even though he's not spending much time with us or she's not spending much time with us because we're living in sin constantly, maybe that lifestyle is a lifestyle to try. Maybe trusting Christ and loving Christ more than anything and anybody is worth a try. Maybe I should stop saying I love God. We love God more than our spouses and our kids because that's what was always said to us. We actually do it. And then the other part that he spoke about, whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me. That's taking on a burden of following Christ. Getting rid of old habits in order to follow Christ. Leaving behind people who are holding you down and following Christ. These are essentially burdens. Taking on the cross is you're taking on a burden, a sense of stress in my and from what I took from what the pastor said, and a sense of you know losing things in order to follow Christ. Whoever doesn't lose stuff to follow Christ is not worthy of him, essentially. And whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me. That is powerful as well. It's saying to take up one's cross, basically to shoulder a burden, to take on something that's probably going to be stressful, something that's probably going to be, for lack of better words right now, annoying to you. To lose things is taking on that burden, taking on that cross like God took on the cross for us. We have to do that in order to be worthy to God. If we're not taking on any burdens, if it's just so easy and lackadaisical and just happy-go-lucky 24/7 and following Christ, you're probably not taking on a burden of following Christ, and that will lead to, I'll speak to myself, me not being worthy of God, of Christ. So those are some powerful words, in my opinion. Just I'll read it one more time. I just think it's so powerful. It says, "Do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to turn a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies will be the members of his own household. Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me." We're not worthy of Christ if we love our parents more than we love him. "Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me." We're not worthy of Christ if we love our sons and daughters more than we love him. "Whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me." We're not worthy of Christ if we don't take up our cross and follow him. "Whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for my sake will find it." That is an extremely powerful couple of verses, in my opinion, and I think we need to take us loving Christ more than our family and our friends and our loved ones a lot more seriously than we do. That's the main thing I took from that. And I know that's hard to hear and hard to read. That can be a thing where, like, it can stress you out, probably, to be honest. Um, but just know we're doing this because we're trusting Christ. And I fully trust Christ, and I know what being saved by Christ means. I know what Christ did for us. So I think it's an easy decision to say, hey, I need to love Christ more than everyone around me, but not just say it. I need to actually show it. There need to be fruits showing that I actually do. It's my actions, it's my characteristics, it's the things I do around my family, and I think, hey, will Christ be okay with this? And if Christ wouldn't, I'll just leave the environment. I'll just leave the situation. No word has to be said. I don't have to be mean to anybody. I don't have to be judgmental to anybody. I just leave, take myself away from the situation, because I'm not going to be in agreement with sin. I love you all. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Peace.